President Mahama let us in on his plans for the country for the next 4 years, for which reason we should give him another mandate as president of our nation. So in this week's episode of Business Time, we want to look at those promises that pertain to businesses like yours, those promises that will ensure economic turnaround over the next 4 years. You're welcome to the program. My name is Kimini Amano. Before we get into the discussion, let's take a look at news that made rounds as far as the business world is concerned this week.
Uncle, please, can I check my number?
Okay. Wow! Give me! You have won the ultimate prize, a brand new car.
What? A car?
Yes, a car, not a toy car. This is the key to your car. Wait, call your daddy.
Okay.
All right. So you see, he has won a car, but there are 4 more cars to be won, plus other amazing prizes and many more in the Giant Malt Open and Win promotion from July to October 2016. Just buy a can of Giant Malt, open a lid, and the number you find under it, voila, you can go to any Romani distributor or Royal Boat depots to redeem your prizes instantly. Giant Malt Open and Win promotion. Onapo, terms and conditions apply.
So the much-awaited bus rapid transport system aimed at radically transforming public transportation in Accra is set to commence operations next month, with the pilots beginning with one of 4 routes, which are Amasaman through Achimota to Circle and to the Central Business District at Tudu. The pilot is expected to start with 28 buses, which will eventually be sealed up to a total of 245 buses when all 4 corridors become active.
So those are the stories that made rounds in the world of business this week. Business Time is brought to you by Giant Malt and powered by the Business and Financial Times newspaper. It's also supported by World Vision Financial Services, and my clothing is by Nalem. My makeup by Jubin House of Beauty. Let's get into our conversation proper. Our guest in today's episode is Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Murtala Mohammed, who's joined us here in the studio. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Let's go back to the manifesto, and I think for a lot of businesses it would be that single economic policy that will make them better. What is it exactly that the NDC, your administration, is promising, for which reason we should give you another term?
Well, let me say good morning to your cherished viewers and to state that it is mandatory, if you like, for every political party to present a manifesto for any elections they want to engage in. And the manifesto is not only limited to the business community, but I believe that to all and sundry, everybody must know what the vision and the mission of every political party is, and for which reason they demand the mandate, or they demand a renewal of their mandate. In this case, the NDC is asking the good people of this country to renew the mandate that was given to President Mahama in 2012. And I strongly believe that the good people of this country elected President Mahama and the NDC because they were largely convinced that what the NDC had in their manifesto in 2012 were things that was going to inure to the benefit of the Ghanaian people. And if you look at what we promised in 2012 and the kind of achievements that we have made, of course we haven't achieved everything, but I think that the story is hugely a success story. Now, what do we have to offer? I believe that our manifesto largely talks about we demanding the mandate to continue with the good work that President Mahama is doing and the NDC government is doing, to finish with the kind of projects that we have started, and in fact to do more. If you look at the business community, the focus of every country is one, to build the human resource base of the country, is one, to provide the needed environment that will help businesses to strive. It's also one, to create an enabling environment. Political stability, for me, is sine qua non to any industrial achievement that we have had. We have seen many countries that did very well economically, yet they could not hold on to political stability and everything that they have been able to accumulate over the years dissipated within just a month or two or a year. And I don't think that that is the part we want to chatter. So if you look at the NDC's manifesto, it is divided in 4 thematic areas. But I wouldn't have my time to talk about all the thematic areas, so I'm just going to be lumping them together. Focus is given to education, and education for me is very important. The NDC government promised in 2012 that they were going to emphasize so much on primary education. They're also going to look at pre-tertiary education and also tertiary education. And there is no denying the fact that President Mahama can score almost 80% or 90% in that kind of achievement. A lot of kindergartens have been built. A lot of second cycle institutions, secondary schools have been built. Unprecedented in our political and economic history. We have 2 new universities that have been established.
But I also get the impression that you're telling businesses that, look, we know we may not have done the best for you, but you should be grateful that there is political stability as we have it now, because other countries may not have had it. That's okay. But the last 4 years...
I'm not too sure whether you think that we would say that we may not. I think that it is left with the business community to assess, and that is why I wanted to look at the human resource, which the industries and businesses need so much. The quality of human resource base you have doesn't only help government, it helps the business community. We have instances where players in the industrial players have argued that, look, the quality of people we are getting are not the kind of people we would need to help propel the kind of activities that we do. Emphasis have been given to technical education. Emphasis have been given to quality education.
Let's look at the last 4 years and the promises that the NDC administration that's in office now made. You also promised the interest rates being better, but we don't see all of that happening. So for a business, the question I'll ask is, what really are you going to offer me in the next 4 years you're asking for, and how?
I think that it is also important for the business community and the public in general to appreciate the challenges that the NDC, went through. From where I sit at the Ministry of Trade, players or industrial players complained when we had them so. They complained to the effect that, look, they were affecting productivity, cost of production was going high, they were retrenching a lot of people. They have been magnanimous and sincere enough to also come back to tell us, as a result of the relative stability that we experience in the energy sector, things are picking up. The projections by the international community, both the IMF and the World Bank, have indicated that the signals are extremely positive. In fact, our economy is projected to grow at a very high rate than we are now. So don't judge me by my height. Judge me by the date from which I began. And once you do that, you would appreciate the challenge. That notwithstanding, we have indeed chalked a lot of successes. Of course, with some challenges, which we don't have any shame, admitting that we are encountering some challenges. The extent to which His Excellency the President, for the first time in our socio-political history, ministers, deputy ministers, and government appointees pay their utility bills. So the President is not just asking people to tighten their belts. In fact, he is doubling his belt hooks. Asking his appointees
in
the time past, we were told to wear belts by the very people who didn't even have belt hooks.
In the next 4 years, how are you addressing these issues?
That is why I'm saying
those that I have mentioned already.
Yes, we are already on the path of addressing them. Like I indicated, the energy crisis, we have some relative stability. We are very optimistic that because we are now producing even more than what we need. Remember, as a country, we needed not less than 200 megawatts a year. The focus of government is to maintain the megawatts that we produce over 5,000. That is one, and I think that industries will be very happy. We are also having direct government intervention to assist. Remember last year, we had a balance of trade deficit of almost $4 billion, and it was occasioned by the fact that we imported more than we exported. And over about a $4 billion deficit we had constituted goods we have the capacity to produce. As a government that has a vision and plan, government came out and said, look, there should be a direct intervention. And that is why direct assistance financially was given to pharmaceutical companies, was also given to local rice, farmers, and also poultry farmers. And let me tell you the results. The pharmaceutical companies and pharmaceutical product, rice and poultry, we're spending almost or more than $1 billion a year importing them. With this direct intervention, the pharmaceutical companies are expanding. They can produce enough to feed the domestic market and then also feed the market within the sub-region. Because the WHO has indicated that the kind of product they produce certified by the WHO. It means that they are internationally proven to be quality drugs. So we wouldn't spend much money on them. And that is why also, as a result of those direct interventions, we had a surge in the production of rice local rice by 60%, and a decline in the importation of foreign rice by 40%. That for me is a giant step. Again, there have been direct assistance given to poultry products. So these are the steps. We have the Commander Sugar Factory, which was set up because we spent almost $200 million a year.
What is happening at the Commander Sugar Factory now?
Fantastic.
I know you've touched on a number of issues.
Yeah.
I want to take each of them one after the other, but now that you've come up with the factory issue, let's talk about, manufacturing. You revamped the Commander Sugar Factory.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any sugar yet. What's happening?
Well, as a matter of fact, sugar that was produced by the factory was there out there, and I remember a private or a journalist who went there and showcased this on TV stations, the production. But remember,
we didn't see any production from there.
There was. Let me give you a classical example. I was on a program on TV, and you had an MPP panelist who doubted, and I promised that I was going to provide sugar. And indeed, the following week, sugar from that factory was brought there.
Is it still functioning now?
Yes, it is. I'll tell you why. I have listened to a lot of argument that they close it down. The factory was scheduled to finish sometime November. They finished the work on it 6 months before schedule. Two countries are the largest producing countries of sugar in the world, Mauritius and Brazil. And within a particular year, they don't spend the entire year producing sugar because sugarcane is seasonal. It doesn't matter whether you use irrigation or whatever, it's seasonal. So what then happens is that in those countries, and any country that wants to engage in sugar production, you don't engage in it the entire year. They spend a particular number of months producing it and spend a particular number of months to maintain the equipment and then the machines. Now, if you look at the time that they were supposed to finish in November. So we would have been commissioning the Commander Sugar Factory in November. Now, they finished it at a time when we needed to hold on because that is not the season for the production of sugarcane. And remember that the project came in two folds. We had how much was spent in putting up the factory, and we also had, as part of the Indian Exim Bank loan, $24 million loan for outgrowers. Now, we had two options, either to start the production of the sugarcane before establishing the factory, or you establish the factory and start the production of the sugarcane. If you take the two scenarios, it doesn't make sense to produce sugarcane, which is perishable, before even setting up the factory. So we needed to set up the factory, which we did and commissioned. And then we are in the process. As I tell you, a lot of thousands of acres of land have been identified. A lot of money. This thing was signed, a $24 million, Indian Exim Bank loan for the outgrowers. So by the time they finish with everything, then we continue with the production of the sugar. So it is not accurate that is being peddled out there. That
So as of now, we are not processing.
No, and I have given the reason why.
When we come back, we'll talk a bit more about these factories. Our guest on the program today is Murtala Mohammed. He's Deputy Trade and Industry Minister. We are discussing what is in the NDC's manifesto for you as a business or as an individual, as far as the economy is concerned. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Uncle, please, can I check my number?
Okay. Wow! Give me! You have won the ultimate prize, a brand new car.
What? A car?
Yes, a car, not a toy car. This is the key to your car. Wait, call your daddy.
Okay.
All right. So you see, he has won a car, but there are 4 more cars to be won, plus other amazing prizes and many more in the Giant Malt Open and Win promotion from July to October 2016. Just buy a can of Giant Malt, open a lid, and the number you find under it, voila, you can go to any Romani distributor or Royal Boat depots to redeem your prizes instantly. Giant Malt Open and Win promotion. Onapo, terms and conditions apply.
You're welcome back. This is Business Time. I'm grateful you could stay with us. We are discussing the NDC Manifesto and what it holds for economic turnaround as far as this country is concerned. Murtala Mohammed is Deputy Trade and Industry Minister. He's here with us, and we've been having a pleasant conversation. But there's still more to come. This program is brought to you in association with Giant Malt, and it's powered by the Business and Financial Times newspaper. My costume is by Nalem Clothing, and my makeup by Jobin House of Beauty. But like I said, we're having a pleasant conversation on the economy and really the NDC's manifesto about the economy with Deputy Trade and Industry Minister Murtala Mohammed. Thanks for your patience and thanks for being here once again. I didn't want to go there, but since you have already gone there, let's talk about it. How different is your factory promise, your promise of revamping the Nkrumah era factories from the NPP's one district, one factory?
Well, the NPP's one district, one factory is absolutely unreasonable, is absolutely impossible, it's not just possible. Maybe probably they need to explain to us the kind of factories they're talking about. And I'll give you reasons. When the flag bearer of the NPP, Nanado, spoke on this Guta, he indicated that they were going to scrap all taxes. And you can check. He never said corporate taxes. He said all taxes. Now, just when we pushed them, they then said no, they were making reference to corporate taxes. And I said then Nanado didn't know the people he was addressing. Because if you know what Guta does, about 99% of what they engage in is import. So you can't be talking about corporate taxes when you are talking about those who are hugely and largely engaged in importation. So clearly it wasn't about corporate taxes. Now, if you also come out, you said you were going to scrap all taxes, and all taxes include import duties, export duties. Huge sources of revenue to this country is from taxation. And almost 80% of the revenue we get from taxation is from the import duties. Now, if you say you're going to scrap all forms of taxes, and in one breath you said you are going to set up one district, one factory, we have over 230 districts.